Hey friends, it's Mrs. G, and this is chapter 3 of Little Shaq. So, we last read chapter 2 called The Game Plan, and this is where we find out how Little Shaq and Barry are planning to pay for this broken game. This is the last chapter for this book, so let's find out how the story ends. All right, chapter 3 Layups and Turnips. A few weeks later, Little Shaq and Barry changed into their jerseys at the rec center. They had been working together on Barry's layup every Saturday afternoon once they had finished gardening. Barry's shot was getting really good. Okay, Barry, are you ready to do what we practiced? Little Shaq asked his cousin. I think so, Barry replied. Great, said Little Shaq. Let's show everyone your new moves. Coach Mackins blew his whistle. Sweet! Little Shaq lined up at the center court across from Walter. Coach Mackins tossed the basketball into the air. Walter and Little Shaq jumped. Little Shaq reached his hand up high and knocked the ball towards his teammates. Barry got to it first. He dribbled the ball right, dodging a defense man. He dribbled the ball left, dodging another. Barry moved towards the basket, taking 3 quick steps. He leaped, shooting the ball. The ball bounced off the backboard and swished through the net. It was a perfect layup. I did it! Barry shouted. Little Shaq slapped his hands high five. Way to go, Barry! Rosa cheered from the stands. Little Shaq knew it was going to be a great game. Barry scored 2 more baskets. He was the MVP of the day. After the last whistle blew, Little Shaq and Barry headed outside to wait for Nana Ruth. Rosa was waiting for them at the curb. Great game, Barry. Great game, Little Shaq, she said. Thanks, Barry and Little Shaq said together. Are you excited to buy your new video game tonight? Rosa asked. Little Shaq and Barry finally saved up enough to replace the broken game. Dad was taking them to the store after dinner. Barry pulled out the envelope of money. We earned so much, we can even buy 2 games, Barry said. Little Shaq turned and walked along the curb, kicking at the dirt by the rec center's dried up garden. It looked so sad. Then Little Shaq had an idea. Hey, Barry, he said, pointing to the garden. Do you think we're good enough to fix up this one? Barry thought for a moment. It would need a lot of water, but hey, we're experts, he said, and we have enough money to buy all the supplies. The next weekend, Barry and Little Shaq loaded the red wagon with bags of soil and tools. They grabbed their watering cans and wheeled it all to the rec center. Mila and Rosa were already in the garden pulling out the weeds. Nana Ruth and Mr. Witten arrived with pots of bright flowers for planting. Mr. Rodriguez and Miss Turpenny set up the vegetable patch. Dad grilled burgers by the picnic tables. Mom helped Tater pour glasses of fresh lemonade and set out bowls of fruit, chips, and Mr. Rodriguez's famous spicy salsa. It was a real garden party. Wow, this is looking great, said Coach Mackins. How can I help? First, we need to add the new soil, said Little Shaq. Maybe you can do that. Then we have to dig some holes, Barry went on. I want to do that, said Tater. Next, we'll plant the seeds, said Little Shaq. That's my job, said Rosa. We can plant tomatoes now and different vegetables each season. And pack them in tight, said Barry. I'm on it, said Malia. You boys sure know a lot about gardening, said Coach Mackins. There's one more step, said Little Shaq. We have to water everything, said Barry. But that's our job, said Little Shaq. We're really good at watering. He turned to Barry. Watering and layups. All right, that was the end. Did you expect our story to end this way? All right. Until next read aloud. Bye, friends.